Professor Nimai Singh was asking me, do you have a PowerPoint presentation? I said, I neither have the power nor any point to make, and I really apologize for not coming here with a very structured lecture. I just immediately thought that, how about this topic when he phoned me, that I will just speak about higher education, the global and the national perspective. And I will not be very academic in the sense that I will not bring in scholarly references in my discussion with you. I will simply relate my experience. Universities are supposed to be the place where knowledge is to be generated. There is nothing new about generation of knowledge at a higher volume or higher rate. But then what is happening is this knowledge generated in the university, as you would agree with me, has got direct implication in the economics of the country, the economic development. Earlier, the universities were considered as the place, as institutions where knowledge is generated, preserved, and disseminated. Knowledge is cultured, generated through research, disseminated through teaching, and also preserved. So this was our fundamental mandate. But then soon, as I am mentioning about the fundamental changes in the university systems all through, universities have been also looked upon as an institution who would contribute towards the economic and societal development. It is not just generation of knowledge. The benefit of knowledge is expected to be delivered for the benefit, welfare, and economic development of the country, everywhere. Therefore, what we call is, nowadays, euphemistically, that we are in a knowledge-based society, knowledge-driven economies, and so on. So we fall into that paradigm. So people expect us that you are doing research fine. You are publishing books, absolutely okay. But what about the benefit coming out of that research going to the society? Because people are now questioning that we are doing our business of teaching, learning, and research with taxpayers' money, public money. So there were certain basic myths about the universities. Now, as leaders of higher education institutions, the vice chancellors are supposed to be aware of these myths and how to negotiate these myths creatively, innovatively, and in a manner so that it becomes ultimately meaningful. Now let us briefly mention about the myths surrounding universities throughout the world. It was believed, and it is still believed, may not be in India, that universities provide an institutional space to professors, to faculties, to students, which is absolutely free from politics or power. We are away from politics. We are away from the influence of power politics. Not only in our universities, but everywhere. So we are believed to be autonomous. This is a myth. Not only in our country, everywhere. The second myth is that university is a place where faculties have the absolute liberty to engage themselves in research without having any accountability to anybody. And your work must have some applicability and relevance to the society from where the money is coming to support your research and teaching learning program in a university. Whatever teaching learning program we offer, that also is subjected to social scrutiny. We are not beyond that. So this is a myth, but we do not like, professors we do not like being questioned about what we are teaching in the classroom, what academic program we are doing, and what kind of research we are pursuing. We do not like to be questioned about it. But this is a myth. The third myth is that the professor is all. Professor is supreme. The academics are in the university, they are supreme. Nobody can touch. Nobody can think about knowledge explosion or growth of knowledge without a professor. That students can also be a very creative contributor to knowledge, original knowledge, is not there in this scheme of things. It is the professor. So these are myths. So now, in this world of, universities where we are undergoing, as I have said, fundamental changes, we are gradually realizing that we are working in universities with these myths actually. Our entire system, our legal framework, our operational framework, everything is designed, allowed to be evolved to cater to the various activities within these myths. It's no more acceptable because universities are increasingly looked upon as institutions who will contribute towards the not only growth of knowledge, but society, prosperity, and universities are looked upon as institutions from where more creative, more innovative knowledge and other institutions, knowledge-based, can come about. People are increasingly looking at innovations from the universities. It is not that this university is known, or for that matter, any university is known for producing very brilliant students, very brilliant doctorates. Not enough. We want something more. Society is looking for something more. The demand of we like it or not, we accept it or not, the fact remains that globalization is a force. Globalization is a force. Market is a force. And many things are now dictated and directed by these forces. You cannot come away from this. So therefore, operating within those basic fundamental tenets I have mentioned and also described as myth, it is a big challenge for the university systems and more so for the leaders, how to negotiate with this creatively, innovatively, so that you do not allow your universities to operate within the realm of those previous fixed tenets, but also you come out and respond to the demands of the outside world. It's a very difficult thing. It is very difficult. I'm telling me as a professor, not as a vice chancellor. As a professor, I know what to do. I do not like my vice chancellor to dictate me. I do not want my vice chancellor to dictate me what kind of research, what kind of academic program I should do. So for a vice chancellor, it is very difficult now, because at the same time, he is under constant pressure from the outside world that you deliver, your institution should deliver, that means. Through innovation, through creative contribution of knowledge, there's something tangible, something which is there for the benefit of the society. Their outside pressure is there on the vice chancellor. At the same time, the inside pressure is that, why should we change? Who are you to tell me what I should do? So, a vice chancellor is a leader. I'm using the word vice chancellor to refer to this position of leadership. Requires that one has this ability to very carefully, creatively, innovatively guiding his own thought process on the basis of his perception about these realities, about these emerging realities, and take forward the institution, the university, in a direction that is acceptable to the people. So everything is changing now. But please look at, you call it the courtroom or the Senate hall. In many universities it is called as the Senate hall. Now Senate is a residue of the colonial period, because earlier the legislative transactions were held in the university's court hall, and hence it was also called as the Senate hall. But now we are far from those colonial days, but still the legacy remains, the word remains, and along with the word, the tenets, the themes, everything remains. Something is there haunting us. This is one very solid example. Then the other challenges of the Vice Chancellor is that one has to realize that you have to take whatever decision a university takes, it has to be through debate and discussion, through consensus. We have different bodies for this. If it is an academic program, academic council, board of studies, then if it is a policy matter, executive council, board of management, etc. But what matters is that element of collegial discussion has to be there. The collegial discussion has to be there. Now what is happening today is this, the problem is here. Now while this is very, very essential to be inclusive, to include every stakeholders in any decision making process, it is also a time consuming process. The world outside is demanding fast result, quick result. You cannot wait for decisions to be taken. Just remember, in many universities, I don't know about Manipur University, PhD students, viva voce is over, everything is done. The poor chap is not still conferred the degree, the announcement is not done because the executive council is yet to take place and followed by the convocation. You understand? So the time has moved. Earlier, a student could afford the time to wait for 5 months, 3 months, 6 months before getting the degree formally awarded to him. But now no more. It's a fast-paced world where he has to compete, she has to compete, and earlier he or she gets the degree is better for him or her. But look at our system. We are operating at the same old pace through the same legal frameworks, operating systems. Even though we know that these are myths, we have to accept the realities. So it calls for, these changes that I have mentioned calls for fundamental changes in the operational system of the universities. Our acts are formed 50 years ago, Dibrugarh University. You cannot touch a word what is there in the act. Ordinances, regulations are drawn from there. But the fundamental thing is there in the act. So it is fixed in time, fixed in history. Well, time has changed, meanwhile, 50 years. Right? And once for every operation in an institution level, if you do not have that stamp of legality, the concession, the statutory concession, it's not binding. It's not binding. The Vice Chancellor has to be in an absolute communication mode with every stakeholder. I am doing this. You have to talk to every faculty, not in the way of doing some kind of, what we call as in Hindi, chokidari. You're not going to do some kind of, checking. You visit the university with full respect to the faculties and the students, and just to go and find out, they must have that confidence in you that the Vice Chancellor is visiting me, visiting us, with an intention to understand us better. But if the Vice Chancellor goes and why he is not there, why she is absent, with that kind of attitude, then the very purpose of communication and being inclusive fails. So it is a personal matter how you negotiate this process of inclusivity. But the fact remains, the Vice Chancellor has to be a very, very good communicator with every stakeholder. I will, if you do not mind, if you permit me, I can relate some of my personal experiences over the last 4 years, and how magical consequences and results have come about. Right? I will relate later. First of all, let me hit the main points. The third quality of a Vice Chancellor is that he has to be a visionary, he has to be inclusive, right? And the third one is that he has to be very, very creative. He cannot be only philosophically visionary. He cannot be only inclusive in a friendly manner. He or she is also capable of creating something from whatever elements that is available in the system. Now there are two kinds of Vice Chancellors, two kinds of leaders. One simply manages. Management is one part, right? And leadership is another one. A person can be an excellent manager. He can manage crisis. He can manage financial crisis. He can pull funds from somewhere immediately. Okay? There are some kind of turbulence, discontent. He can immediately go and in a very amicable manner, he has that ability to get into the people and sort it out. He manages things. Nothing is, in that situation, if the leader is like that, he is not the leader, he is the manager, then the Vice Chancellor will not be able to take the university very far. There is a difference between a manager and a leader. As a leader, the Vice Chancellor has to cope not with complexities, he has to cope with change. The whole world is changing. I told you those mates. These are the mates, changing mates. The Vice Chancellor must have the ability to cope with those changes and give directions, establish directions, give directions, motivate people, faculties, students, that here is a point. This change is good. This change is inescapable. This is for the betterment. Without this, we cannot survive. So, therefore, he has to motivate. He has to see the change, and he has to see that how to cope with the change. And therefore, he has to really give a direction, new direction, to the university, so that the university not just manages, it progresses by coping with the change. We have to create structures also after creating this sense of urgency. 10 years before, there was no imagination. It was not there simply that universities will have sales called IPR sales, intellectual property rights sales. Nobody heard about it. Nobody even heard about entrepreneurship and skill development sale. 5 years back, 10 years back, nobody, no universities. But then now we have realized that unless skill is given emphasis and skill-based entrepreneurs are not encouraged, okay, then you will not be able to deliver the societal demands. Society, a lot of unemployed people are there. Now, if you can create at least one or two entrepreneurs out of your students through their own innovation, the innovation goes to the market, right? An enterprise is formed. Then if innovation is there and you intend the innovation, young innovators to take it to the market to do business out of that, you have to enable the innovator to protect his intellectual property. So there comes the necessity of intellectual property rights. So you have a sale. See, what I have done is this. I could see the writing on the wall. We cannot create jobs. There is a national focus on skill without being political. Be practical. Being practical, I could appreciate the fact that we have to make students who will be given some skill, some innovation on which he or she can come up with his own enterprise, however small it is. But the university must provide a platform, some mechanism to facilitate this. It will be a role model kind of thing. Looking at one, 10 others will come. So we started 2013 June, I have joined. By 2013 December, 3 cells have been formed. One is the Intellectual Property Rights Cell. One is the Center for Entrepreneurship and Skill Development. And the third one, the Center for Innovation and Incubation. Earlier we called it Technology, Innovation and Incubation. Now we call that innovation could be anything. If somebody can write a beautiful piece of poetry, a beautiful ad, can be also innovative. So why innovation be defined and delimited only within the realm of science? It can be anything. So we picked up young faculties for, giving the responsibility to lead the Center for IPR, the Center for Technology Innovation, and the Center for Entrepreneurship Development. Right people, young, one from management, one from law, one from science and engineering, in 3 different setups. And believe me, the kind of enthusiasm I have witnessed and experienced. In 3 years, 4 patents have been filed, published, right? And we got the credit for that this time in the NIRF. Not too many, 2. Tezpur got 3. Tezpur IPR sale was started in 2008. And last ranking, they could show 3 patents are given credit under 3 categories. Patent published, patent granted, and patent licensed to the industry. Patent published, you are publishing. The patent is it has got value. So it is being published so that if in any other part of the world that has been done or not, it is published. So you get credit for that. We have 2. Within 2 years, our young students come up with innovations. We said you file a patent. It was immediately from technology innovation to it was passed on to the IPR. Then IPR said that this is how it should be done, how to file a patent and all that. So they filed. 2 out of 4, 2 has been published. Okay? And granted, no. Licensed, no. But look at IISc Bangalore. I will tell you, now I will mix up these issues, realities, local realities. In the last IISc ranking, I told you the scenario is very pathetic. India, looking at its size, the academic front, higher education scenario is absolutely pathetic, if not it is, alarming. To my mind, it is alarming. See, I will tell you, IISc Bangalore, its position ranking was 1, and on a scale of 100, there were 5 parameters: teaching, learning, resource, research. See, the average, why I was telling the ranking was, the higher education scenario is very dangerous. I wish I could give you the, graphs. It was there in my mail, but then I forgot it. I did not really intend to show this. What is this? That the average ranking score, out of 100 scale was 41.2 or 41.3. Average point was 41.2 or 41.3. We have 700 plus universities. 36.28 us, Rajiv Gandhi University 36.15. Assam University 92, 34.38. Mizoram University 38.36, 58 rank. Nehu 40.51, 48 rank. Tezpur University 43.78, 30 rank. Guwahati University 44.42, 27 rank. Calcutta University 48.90, 16 rank. Then goes the digital, curve. JNU 61.53. Then goes the peak standalone IISc Bangalore 83.28. If a country of India's size has only 3 universities with respectable ranking score, Isn't the situation alarming? Right? Absolutely alarming. Because these scores indicate that we are not competitive. We are not competitive. We cannot stand in any competition with any international standard university. Forget about talking about world-class universities. Okay? Across the hill, 200 miles away from Dibrugarh University, there are 7 international universities, world-class universities. National University of Singapore, go to China, you just cross the hill, Himalaya, and our competition with them. The whole geopolitics is changing. I mean, it is not a matter of just stating politically. First it was Lucas policy, and now it is Actist policy. Now the moment we really gear up to act, university-wise, we will be completely wiped away. How come our faculties, how will our students stand in global competition with students from National University of Singapore? The competition lies there. The fact of the policy is in its implementation. And if you implement and you really, from Lucas to Actis, if you open up those border areas for what is called as SEZ or something, economic zone, right? Then competition will come. We have all the resources in the world here. We have oil, we have tea, we have minerals, we have the huge rivers, Brahmaputra. What don't we, I mean, we have everything except the human resource. So if you want to be globally competitive, if you really want to, if the government really wants to act, we have to do that. It is not the Prime Minister or any minister, HRD minister, that will enable us to raise in these ranks. We have to be strategic. The leadership has to be strategic. Overnight you cannot do anything. But then strategic planning will deliver. I have the confidence. So what we did, I said you have to be creative, you have to be enabled. So I had to fight in the finance committee meeting, in the executive council and in the university court that please give me 10 lakh rupees startup grant for these new faculties. The moment they come, we'll ask them what is your requirement to immediately take into hand some research. Whatever, a physical chemist, four fellows came that day. They said, sir, we want 2 computers, 1 printer, 1 software, 1 server, and 1 pH meter and some physical balance. 5 lakh rupees. I said, okay. Because it is the fag end, last year, March before, I said 5 lakhs, give it to them, but I will watch you. And they're doing. They get so, motivated. They feel good. And after that, I say that this is your timeline. Today we are giving you 5 lakhs startup grant. But within 6 months, I want you to submit a project proposal and get positive result, initial result out of that. So you have to put them on some kind of system pressure. And you have to give them support. This is number 1. Similarly for political science, I said, you do whatever you like. Books, journals, it's easy for them, humanities. Then I found coming to research, the most creative and innovative, you will all agree with me, the most creative and innovative people in the university are the younger students. If you have undergraduate students, they are the most creative, they are the most innovative. The only thing is we do not give them space to bring out their, creative questions, the creative thoughts. I was absolutely surprised. So this is, I think these are very important issues that we have to take. These are learning points. I am learning from my own experiences. And I am relating to you because I know some of you will be at least advising this Vice Chancellor here who has joined recently. And also you yourself will become Vice Chancellors, will have to take leadership role. And for that, this is very, very important. Another thing one has to remember sitting at the top, that you will find, you have to really observe, identify, interact, identify who is good for what. You have to recruit the right people and you have to put them also at the right place. If you put the right people in the wrong place, No way. So, this is another very good, and you do not rely on your own judgment, you take one or two. It's not coterie. It is not coterie. Vice Chancellor must have a collegial inner circle to honestly advise him for the betterment of the university. Because I am new to the system. That is a 50-year-old system. So I had to identify senior faculties and I have to take their views. I talk to everybody. And talking to everybody is very important, and talking to the students is a must. I go with my guests, myself alone, almost every alternate evening to the canteen, have a cup of coffee. I interact with students join me over a cup of coffee. Then every day is a discovery day for me.